Everyone, David Coe at the Core Real Estate Group. Hey, there was a really interesting article talking about supply on Fast Company, and there's a very visual map here that I want to share with you. So basically what this is talking about is supply levels of homes around the country, and as the high level takeaway is that inventory is actually starting to increase, but we are way below where we were pre-pandemic, but still way above where we were during the pandemic. And it's very regional. So if you look at this map down here, everything that's blue is where the inventory levels are actually above where we were before the pandemic. So markets like Texas and Florida, Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, Tennessee, these are all markets where during the pandemic, a lot of remote workers were looking for lower prices. They could live anywhere. So they started buying homes in these states. But now that, things have kind of come back to normal, they've been somewhat challenged with an oversupply of homes. And in these markets, prices are actually starting to decrease. Versus when you look at the numbers like Illinois, for example, Massachusetts, the actual number of homes that are available are still very, very low compared to where they were pre-pandemic. And in those markets, because it's the actual inventory is lower than where it historically has been, prices are rising. Versus in the states here in the light blue, because inventory levels are higher than where they have been historically, prices are starting to decline. So I figured this was a good visual to look at that. And then if you actually look at where we are, so the black line here is where we're at right now with inventory levels. And you can see 2018, 2017, 2019, we are still well below where we were before the pandemic. But when we compare it to where we were last year, 2023, even 2022, which is when interest rates really started to decline, you can see that inventories are rising. So while we are in a market that has a rise in inventory, we are still well below where we have been historically. And when you're thinking about how that's going to affect the value of real estate, if you're in a state where all of a sudden you kind of have some migration out of the state where, like some of the markets up here in blue, prices are falling. And if you're a buyer, it's a great place to get a deal. And if you're a seller, you need to be aware of that and price your property accordingly. Versus if you're in some of these darker kind of, brown or orange or lighter brown or orange levels, we are still at a fairly low level of inventory, and prices are projected to go up in these states. So I hope this was kind of a good macro look at where inventory levels are. If you're curious how this will affect you as either a buyer or a seller, we'd love to sit down and talk to you about it. Please feel free to give myself or someone for the team a call. David Coe with the Real Estate Group. Hope this finds you well, and I hope to talk to you soon.